That's why my partner was asking me, and she says all the time, like, you're not stressed to do all those kind of things. Like, I'm excited. I like to share with people, some different ideas and perspective on life and different subject. And
Yeah, it's very exciting.
yeah.
It's very exciting. So Frederic, we're live.
Are we? Good.
We're live now. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It's so nice to see you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh yeah, and see you. You're in Switzerland.
Yes.
So you're 6 hours later, but it's still beautiful and sunny there.
Yeah, I mean, there is some clouds if you want to see. That's the view that I have from here. Some clouds, but the mountains and the lake in front.
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful.
It is very inspiring.
Well, I'm so excited to talk to you about this stuff and this exciting coaching stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
So
going to
it's
introduce you a little bit.
okay.
So we met four years ago now, I think, on couch surfing of all
Yes.
places.
Yes.
And like I was telling you earlier when we were prepping for this little chat, I met Frederic before I think I knew what coaching was. And you really rocked the boat for me. Like you, just meeting you, I mean, without things being good or bad, you definitely asked some very important questions.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back on that time, I realized that you were coaching me before, like out of a formal context. And years later, I've been watching you travel and a little bit on the social media and things, and your coaching offerings are actually coming up to the surface a little bit more than they were at the time when we first met. And here I am also working as a life coach. So it's so beautiful
That's
the way
nice. Yeah.
paths go. So, Frederic, why don't you tell
Yes.
us about yourself, who you are, and what you do?
Well, who I am, it's going to be difficult to tell you, but I can tell you what I do and I can tell you a bit why I'm doing what I'm doing. Very quickly with the coaching things, it started very young for me. I was doing judo on a high level. So I had all the coaching background with sport that I was receiving from my teacher in judo. And I kind of really early in my life brought that to other people, to show them that they can transcend their limits and achieve what they want, because that's what I was experiencing with the judo and all the sport that I was doing. So
Okay.
I think that was already kind of something that started for me very, very young. And after that, I applied that in my life in a way that I was really believing that I could do anything in my life. So I was creating companies and really doing things to be free and trying to, like make my life in harmony with what I was believing in. And slowly it slid to a more spiritual side of the coaching. So I begin to do meditation, I begin to go in monasteries, and I've seen that what I was learning and knowing about the mind was really related with the spiritual side. So I was beginning to bring everything together. So after a few years of having companies, I was beginning to teach people yoga, Tai Chi, meditation, while being a life coach for them. So there was already this kind of mix. And it was not really clear, it just happened this way in my life that people were asking me for coaching either for sport or knowing about yoga, and I was kind of mixing who I was with those kind of practices. And then I left traveling around the world, which was 7 years ago, and I'm still on the road with my backpack. And I've been deeper in the spiritual side, being in monasteries for long periods of times and some spiritual other places. And so now it comes up, as you say, in the social media and everything, because I feel there is really something concrete that represents me that I can offer to the people. When I met you, it was just me doing what I felt was right and asking the questions that were for me challenging, and I knew it could challenge people to change their life. So that's what you have experienced. Now it's more formal. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just coming with who I am, doing the things that really represents me, mixed with coaching and spirituality and some therapy, using the mind or understanding the mind.
Mm-hmm. And I think Frederic, you're being a little bit modest. So you've written a book. You've written a book that's available for purchase online.
Mm-hmm.
And when Frederic said he's been traveling the world for 7 years, like he's actually been traveling the world for 7 years and doing different house sitting and couch surfing. And he, Frederic, to me, you really are this embodiment of adding value. Like I remember you came to stay with me for a few days. I've like had 2 couch surfers in my entire life, and there was something about your profile that made me say, "Hey, I want this person here." And I just think it's important to underline this because it's part of who you are and the work that you do. And when I met you, you really reminded me of like the spiritual sages, like les sages that we read about, and that here you are, and we're living this life where you very much like the ancient texts that we read, like you were traveling around the world asking for nothing, and living very, very simply. Like when I met you, you only ate bananas and dates. Is that still true?
It is still true. People know me just for that. I have my breakfast, which is a big bowl of bananas and some dates and nuts and whatever comes on my way. There is a little cat that comes to say hello.
And like literally just sharing this wisdom from the heart and asking like nothing in return. Like you take living simply to a new level that was incomprehensible. And I think that's one of the reasons that you resonated so deeply with me, and perhaps you resonate with a lot of your clients. It's like, this is a man who is quite literally walking his talk.
Mm. Well, I'm very glad that you're seeing that and perceiving that. Yeah.
Yeah, like the real deal. And also you offer retreats. And so can you tell us a little bit more about when you talk about your formalizing this work? Like what are you doing right now? I saw there's a lot of testimonials. People are talking about how you've changed their lives. Like what are you doing?
Well, I'm mainly helping people to see more clearly inside their own mind. So by going in all those different places and doing the work on myself with the meditation mainly for 15 years and mixing with the coaching and therapy work, I could see that there is some basic principle on how our mind functions. And if you can see clearly your own mind, your whole life can become easier and simpler. So the main thing to make it maybe more clear is on a psychological way, we have some needs and values that are really important for us. So what I'm trying to help people to do is helping them to see more clearly what's their values and what are their needs on a specific moment. So the values are kind of mainly stable in our own life, on our whole life, and the needs are changing a little bit depending where we are at in life. So there's basic human needs that we all have, and there is some values that are important to be represented in our life. So for example, to make it clear, for me, one of the main needs is to be free, and it's one of my value that I need freedom, and I am someone who is free, so everything I do should fit with that. I'm someone who cares. The caring is a value very important for me, to help others, to contribute and to care. So if I know that and I see it clearly in my own life, I can adapt my life with this value and this need that is the most important. And only that, if I have only that in my life, I can feel fulfilled. So what I'm doing mainly is trying to help people, for them to see that, who they are in terms of values mainly. So that's one part of, a big part of the job that I'm doing. The other side, which is coming first maybe, is to understand where we are at. We often forget to understand, like, why are we starting from? You know, it's important in coaching to know where we go, what are our goals, but most of the work, in fact, is to really understand where are we starting from. So it's like really a GPS, you know, it can lead you wherever you want, but if it doesn't find you at the beginning, it's never going to lead you there because it doesn't start working. So starting from where you are in terms of emotion, in terms of needs, in terms of values, in terms of like work that needs to be done on this specific moment with yourself is really the most important, because then the rest just unfold. So the main work is really that it's like the coaching mixed with the therapy when there is some emotion to deal with, and going to a more spiritual side, because I believe that what we are all looking for, whatever the meaning of spirituality means for each of us, discovering something else, something different than what we see in daily life. Knowing that there is a truth that is beyond us, that is stronger than this illusion or this society. So connected with this part of ourselves already like give us this stability. Then you know where you are at in terms of your own life, the different domains in your life, what you need to work on. And then the coaching becomes easy because it's like, what are the steps now to improve those different areas of my life where I know at what level I am, what I need, and you just put the actions into place. So I kind of simplify and go to the essence of who we are in terms of psychology, go into a more spiritual side, and on a more concrete level, what are the actions, what are the things that needs to be done to fit your life with your values, with who you are, with your needs in the specific moment.
And then, so do you think both parts are the coaching, Fred, or do you think the coaching starts once somebody knows who they are? Like, is it the where are we going part, or are they both parts? Like, tell me, what's coaching?
No, coaching is everything. It's really, I think, it's a way to put everything together. The spiritual part can be coaching, although it's spirituality, but it's, you know, when you go to monasteries, the monk is like kind of your coach. He's coaching you to go through meditation, to go deep inside yourself, to use the right technique, to understand what it's all about, to motivate you by telling you what you will gain or what's, you know, the path and where it leads, what the experience he had. So even on a spiritual level, it is coaching. The therapy is the same. It's like, I'm the therapist. If you go on a more psychological level and treat some more emotion, it's the same thing. It's like, well, that's what I've seen. That's what I've worked with people and I understood, or some people understood. And that's where you can go to by dealing with those emotions. So it is a part of coaching too. How do you see it? Does it speaks to you when you hear me, or?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I'm consistently like surprised, amazed, and enthralled that the more people I talk to from so many different walks of life, right? Like, you were a supermodel, a race car driver, a judo athlete, you've traveled the world. And what you're saying is what I would translate in my sort of style is that you're helping people align the particles and the purpose of their lives so that they can live lives that are true to their values. And I'm just like, holy shit, this is so cool. You know, like, I got taught in this coaching school, you have developed this from your own learnings and experience. And then other people have come and talked to me and said it in different words. And I just think that it's amazing that we're all expressing something that is fundamentally similar in our own flavors.
Yes.
In ways. So absolutely, you know. Wow. But I like the way that you've expressed it in the where are you at, and how important that is, because I think I personally forget that sometimes, myself and with my clients, for two ways, right? Like, honoring where we're at in the sense of a celebration also, you know, before we move on to the next thing. Like, so often people who've been coaching for a long time too, they're like, yeah, rah, where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? And like, okay, but where am I at? And what needs to happen here still?
Yes.
Before I can go to where I'm going.
Yes.
So yeah.
That's why it relates a lot with the spiritual side in my way, which is related with meditation and Buddhism. And it's really about, okay, when you look at what is going on right now, that's when you can understand your own mind. If you see right now what is happening in your own body, for example, you see the reality of it. You understand the reality of it. It's like, okay, I have some feelings inside my chest. I have the heartbeat that beats fast. I have some tension somewhere. It tells you something about where you are at. If you look at your mind, you see your thoughts, you see the ideas that comes up, you see the thing that you have to work on. Naturally, you know it for yourself. It's another part that I feel is really important as a coach, as a therapist, or whatever we call ourselves, is to understand that the people have all the tools and all the solution and all the knowledge inside themselves. So for example, now if I'm helping you, if I'm not going to do a session with you, but if I will help you to go inside yourself and see what's going on right now, you will know clearly where you're at, and you will know what needs to be done to go to the next step of your life. I'm not the one that is going to tell you, okay, now that's the next step. And often we forget that, and that brings another point that for me is really important in every areas of our life, which is the notion of responsibility. We are the one responsible for our own thinking, emotions, decisions, actions in life. And that reflects a state of mind that puts you on a different track than what the society is trying to make you be, which is just following rules, following hierarchy, following people who know for you, be it the doctors, be it the coach, be whoever, or the therapist, when in fact you are your own teacher and you have the answer inside yourself. And when I do coaching or therapy, is helping people to bring their own knowledge and what they know is right for them, instead of thinking that I know better for them and put it on themselves, where it's probably going to lead them in the wrong direction because they know better than I do. They know themselves better. It's difficult for them to see clearly inside their mind. So what I do, I'm guiding them inside their own mind to know what they really feel and what's their values, what they need on the moment. And they are the one who knows that. If I begin to put my own projection, my own ideas of how things should be, well, it's not right anymore.
Yeah, then it's not coaching. And I think that's so important, Fred. And I find so often, like as a coach and as a coachee, like I receive coaching, it's about permission. It's so much about permission. It's like when there's somebody else there as this witness, as this coach being like, helping me realize, oh, this is what I want. And it's having somebody be like, yes, this is what you want. And that's okay. It's more than okay. It's beautiful and it's destined. And yeah, in this society where we're meant to be these little like, make the money, have the babies, do the things. Yeah, coaching is so important as that support around like discovering who we are.
Yep.
I have a question particular for you though, because you're talking about coaching and therapy on the same plane, which I think is really interesting because for my personal practice, there's a huge difference in them for me. What about for you? Like, what's the difference between coaching and therapy?
Yeah. Well, with most of my clients, I've realized that there is a mix between their own emotion that they need to deal with and certain goals or things that they want in life. So most of the time during the sessions that I'm doing, I do private session online, mainly because I'm on the road and when I meet people directly with them. And during the seminars, it's the same. I'm really mixing those three things that I was saying: therapy, coaching, and spirituality. And so what I've seen is that, for example, now if we are having a session and you're telling me about something that could be disturbing for you on an emotional level, I will go deep inside that and help you see clearly that and liberate this specific emotion or something that you're dealing with, which I call more a therapy. But in the same session, you could have telling me, for example, okay, right now, this is where I am at. You know, we do coaching session and we focus on where you are, what's your values that needs to be focused on. For example, the main one for people is often security. Security, which is related as a need, which is related with a lot of fear. We need security when we can never have it, when things are changing all the time. So, but still we need a certain amount of security. So the security on a coaching level, which could be a goal to reach, is also related on an emotional level with fear, with certain belief that we have been conditioned in some ways with our past, with some emotional deep experience that we could have in our past by having a bad experience at school or with our parents telling us certain things. So while you're telling me about your need for security, and we can try to do this on a coaching level to go further with that, I can see that there is a fear and there is something going on an emotional level. So then it turns to the therapy part. We go deep into it, we do some work, we dig in it, we try to understand it, we liberate it, and we go further on the coaching level. And if you're ready, and if that's something that interests you, we can go deeper into a spiritual level or more. When I say spirituality, for people to understand, I've been taught mainly and practice everything that is related with meditation in the Buddhist sense. So it's really about understanding the mind, liberating the mind. What the main essence of Buddhism is really about, there is suffering. And if you see the suffering inside your mind and you see what's the cause of suffering, which is mainly our attachments, you can liberate it. So at the end, even the needs and the coaching that we are doing, we don't need it. It doesn't mean we don't do it, but you don't need to do it. And so that's where you become completely, you go with the flow, this Zen idea or Tao, you go with the flow of life, of having your goals and going in a certain direction, but by just being yourself and without having any need, any attachment, any struggle to go there. You just flow with it and things happen by themselves.
I like that. Buddhism in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you guys who are watching are getting this, but like I think you are such a natural coach. Like it's unbelievable. Just like talking to you, I'm already like, yeah, man, like my mind is feeling good, and like what do I want to do today? Like you have such an inspiring energy, and I think it's so beautiful, and how it gets transmitted over distance as well. So, I feel like I'm asking you this question. I feel like I have an answer that I would guess for you, but I want to hear you say it. Like what brings you to this work, and what excites you most about it?
To know that anyone can reach a level of fulfillment in their life, a level of peace that we are all searching for. Everything that you're doing, you, me, everything that we do is to avoid suffering, is to be happy. And the notion of happiness for me, it's even more the notion of feeling at peace with ourselves. Doing something meaningful in our life is something that makes sense. So that will be the most obvious answer, and that is related with our deep need as a human being, which is to contribute, to help, and do something that is meaningful, the service. So what I do with my videos and when I do talk like this and when I help people, it's really because I had the chance, I had the opportunity, I had the karma, if we bring the spiritual side of it, to experience all that in my life and to know that this is possible for anyone, either to live their dreams, and that's the title of the book that you were speaking. At some point, I was feeling, okay, what people want, what they want to fulfill all their desire and their dreams in life. And there is a way. As you said, I was coach and I was car driver and stuntman and doing all those things because that were my dreams when I was younger. And I did it not because I'm special, but because I knew how to do that because of the state of mind. And we also all want to have a meaningful life. We also all want to have meaningful relationship and harmonious relationship. And there's a way. And then on a more deeper level, we just want to feel that peace. And there's a way. And I had, again, the chance to discover those tools, simple tools that anyone can apply. Anyone can feel and experience that in his life. And so what I just want is like, well, it's here. It's like there have been thousands of years where philosophers and spiritual teachers and gurus have tried to give us all those tools. And what I've experienced is like, well, it works. It really leads people to where they say. So just try. That's this drive in me that feels, well, it's here, it's available, anyone can do it. So let's just share that.
Oh, so true. Anybody can do it, and we don't have to walk it alone, right? And that like loops well to, I think, what coaching is ultimately. It's like the tools are there, and beautifully said, like, you're right, it's been around forever. Like, we're not reinventing the wheel here. Like, as coaches, as spiritual, I don't want to use leaders, perhaps guide is a more comfortable word. I'm a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher as well. And it all comes together, right? And my teacher, Kobe, she says, we all create our own prisons. And so often I see it like that we're like in jail, and our clients are in jail. They're like, oh my God, my teacher says this, like, help me. Yet the key is right here, right? Like the key is around our necks. And anyway, I could keep talking to you forever. And I hope that we get a chance to chat again, Fred. But thank you so much for taking this time It's a Friday night for you in Switzerland in the mountains. What you're going to be getting up to. But so if people want to talk to you more, if they want to work with you either online or come to one of your seminars, your seminars are mostly in French, is that right?
It depends. I've done some in Finland, in Portugal that were in English.
Okay.
Lately, the last year and a half, I did it in French because there were so many people who were reading my books and asking me about seminar in French that I did it in French and in French. But even some English speaker people came to some retreats, and I can translate, and there is a lot of work which is experiencing by themselves. So there's sometimes even no need to hear the words and just do the words, but I can translate in English for the ones who need some translation anyway. So yeah, lately that's what I do. And I go with the flow. You know, the next one is programmed because someone who came to a seminar really wanted to organize a retreat where she is living. So she's organizing for me the next one near Bordeaux in France. And wherever the wind goes, I go, and if it feels right. So if you organize one in Nova Scotia, I come back in Canada and we do one in Nova Scotia.
Yes, that's true. Fred and I were both in Nova Scotia this summer on various sides of Halifax, and the water didn't flow that we got to hang out, but maybe back to Quebec, to Mont Tremblant. You'll have some fans there. But
yeah.
So where can people find you, Fred?
Well, they can click on whatever Facebook link, and I have a website, fredericdeltour.com, and the YouTube channel where I will put the video too, and my books on Amazon, Listen to Your Heart and Live Your Dreams, and others books with some quotes that were inspiring for me. So I did a few books with quotes, and yeah, that's it. They will find if they want to.
So go with the flow, Frederic. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Frederic Deltour, calling
You're
us.
very welcome. And I'm very happy to talk with you and share those moments. It's really nice for me too to have those kind of talk and discussion.
Thank you. And I like your cat.
And...
I like your cat coming in to join us.
She's still on me, with us, enjoying the talk.
Enjoying the talk.
Yes.
Take care.
So
well,
I was just having the feeling of saying a last word for people, like 2 keys that are so important in their life is loving kindness and gratitude. If you have gratitude in most of the moment in your life, it will give you happiness that nothing can give you. And today I was in a monastery, so it's quite funny. There's a monastery not so far with some Buddhist monk. And I did a video, which I will put online soon, about Dana, which is the generosity part. So the monks in the tradition that I follow live without money. So they need people to give them food, money if they want to have a place to stay. So they live only out of donation. So that's another thing in our life that can fulfill us so much, is to give. The more you can give, a smile, a good word, money, food, whatever is your gift, and you can give to people, it's going to fulfill you more than anything else. So that's it. Gratitude and giving and loving kindness to others.
I'm so grateful for you, Frederic. I'm grateful for when I met you 4 years ago, and I'm grateful for the work that you do in the world.
Yeah, thank you. Same for you. Beautiful work. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.